Right. Let's make sure I'm unmuted this time, shall I? Good now, everyone. I hope this broadcast finds you well. My name is Artorius Winchester, Scholar of the Dreaming Glade, and welcome to our 10th edition of our VTuber cocktail streams, where I make two cocktails themed on different VTubers. I think I should probably preface this, given that it immediately follows Tuesday's stream. Apologies for that. I had no idea I was muted for 3 hours. Believe me, when I came to mute myself at the end of stream, and I saw it was already done, the wave of dread that hit me, it was real rough, shall we say. Just be like, oh cool, I've just been yapping away for 3 hours to nobody then. Which is, yeah, oops, God, throwing things over the shop already. Yeah, so apologies for that. I will probably be doing another uni stream in the future, which might have me actually talking over it, which would be nice. Yeah, and also, as I think I was saying on that stream, sorry, it's not Halloween yet, on that stream, I'll be probably doing some kind of more tournament streams for that and Grand Blue in the future. I think Grand Blue, once I managed to hit S++, and then uni, once I managed to get to like A, I think I said. Which is only one rank above where I am now. Because both of those have been going well for me recently. If you just joined and out of nowhere on this, apologies, I'm talking about fighting games, which was my last stream that I did on Tuesday. And yeah, as you might have picked up, didn't tell I was muted the whole time. Bit miffed about that, really. Just a little bit mad. Oh. But anyway, I can see that I am not muted now, and I can also see that my background music isn't overpowering me. If the audio levels ever get out of whack, please do let me know. Don't just assume it's intentional. I'm not good enough at streaming for it to be intentional. Oh, boy. But yeah, anyway, VTuber Cocktails, the 10th round. We've done 10 of these streams since I started streaming, I guess. Granted, I don't think I started doing these for a while until after I got the hang of, like, basic streaming. But this will make VTubers number 19 and 20 that we've done cocktails for. So we're building up a decent library of cocktails. I should probably do, maybe a release of, like, all the ones I've done so far at some point. I did go back through all the old episodes, and you can now see at the bottom of, or sorry, not at the bottom, in the description of every episode, you should be able to see the recipes and kind of instructions and, you know, potential suggested garnishes where applicable, for every cocktail that I've made so far. I think one or two of them might also have some editor's notes on that are like, yeah, I made it this way in here. I found since that, you know, this other way is better. Some of them could do with being rehashed altogether as well. Like, I might need to do a revisit episode at some point. Or a revisit stream, I should say. But that's for the future. As for today, I've got two brand new VTubers who I'm going to be making a couple of cocktails for. And I'm reasonably impressed with both of these, I've got to admit. So, I am going to dive right in, because I've been yakking for long enough. Oh, that is as soon as I... Okay, I have to hope that doesn't bother me. Sorry, just a little bleen like one of those tiny flies or something. I was like, no, I just set up my bleen, like, set really nice. Don't mess this up now, please. Oh. Right, anyway. So, our first VTuber of the evening is this gal right here. It's Echo Gummy. Now, there's a couple of things to probably explain here. So first off, as those of you who've been paying attention to the past couple of cocktail streams will know, I'm kind of diversifying a bit, and while I do like doing, you know, the bigger, like, you know, the Hololive, the V-Shoujo, you know, the, like, big indie creators, like, you know, your Girl DMs, your, Mint Phantoms, that kind of stuff, I do want to start making cocktails for, like, I guess streamers that are a bit smaller than that, for a couple of reasons. One, some of them have got really, really cool designs, say, like Echo here. And, you know, I think there's definitely some I look at and I'm like, I can definitely make a good drink out of that. And second off, yeah, honestly, I think, you know, like, I don't have much of a, a huge following or a huge platform or anything, but giving, kudos where it's due and, spotlights on people where applicable is really cool. And like I say, added in the descriptions for some of these guys. In fact, I might go back through and just do all of them, actually, just to be on the safe side. But I'll put links to people's channels and that. That might be a job for me for this weekend. Just go and link everyone's channels. Because that would be a cool and groovy thing to do. But yeah, Echo Gumi. Let's build a drink based on them. So, we have our 4 sliders of this is how the drink turned out. Which, God, I would love to be able to, like, feign that these were plans. I do have rough plans for some of these. In fact, this one I probably had the strongest plan with regards to these bars. But at the end of the day, it's more about, what the drink ended up like, as I said. So, on the first slider, our bitter to sweet, we are going just all the way sweet. Just as sweet as we can get it. This is going to be, like, to use an American expression, like a very candied drink. You're going to be drinking this, you're going to be like, oh boy, that's my blood sugar going up. On the weak, strong side, we're actually not going to make this one too strong at all, so I've erred a little on the weak side. Not because a lot of the ingredients aren't alcoholic or we're like mocktailing or something, but just because there's no single strong, like, alcoholic flavor. It's almost possible to say that this is kind of like deceptive in its weakness, and then it's like, oh, okay, this, tastes sweet, but doesn't taste alcoholic. And then you have a couple and you stand up and you're like, where are my legs? So yeah, we're going kind of say just, just south of the center bar there. Or I guess just west of it, if we're being technical. So just a little on the weaker side. For the simple and complex, dead simple, honestly. Well, not dead simple, kind of dead center. So while there's a bit of pre-prep you have to do for some of these syrups, and there's a bit of, like juicing, is it a lemon or a lime in this one? I'm going to say a lime. In fact, I can double check that right now. Why don't I do that? It is a lime, yeah. There's a bit of that involved, but once you've got that kind of pre-prep done, it is just throw all the things in a shaker. And I guess there's a bit of, like, again, nothing too complicated with doing the garnish and the glass for this one. But I thought I'd put it middle of the road, not everyone's going to just have, a couple of the syrups lying around. So, yeah, middle of the road. And our hot-cold slider, yeah, this week still isn't hot dreek. Hot dreek? What the fuck? Excuse me. Oi. Hot dreek, that's a new one. But yeah, this week still isn't hot drink week, so all of you hot drink enjoyers who keep coming back here week after week, expecting to one day make something like in the vein of a hot toddy, I'm sorry, it's not this week, it ain't happening. Try again, next, well yeah, it will be next week, my next stream, although I'm not planning on doing any hot drinks then either. So maybe try, I don't know, end of June, maybe. No promises. Probably not. But one day, if not before, I'm going to try and do one in October. I'll give you that. October or before. But right now, we're sticking on the cold drinks train. Apologies as well, actually, if I sound a bit, like, stuffy. Which is, I think, how I got hot dreek there. Because I am still getting over a bit of my, like, cold, thing that knocked me about last week. Like, I'm mostly better now, but it's still occasionally, it just kind of, like, when I'm talking, it just, sounds a bit like I'm talking like this, which isn't great. So, yeah. Oh, God. I tell you what, pinching my nose to do that has, in fact, made it worse. Alright, keep it going, keep it going. So, Echo Gumi. For those of you who don't know a lot about her, she's a kind of like an alien parasite worm that's also kind of like a gummy worm type thing. So she's got this very kind of like incredibly colorful design going on. And obviously, with the kind of gummy element, it's like, well, that reminds me of like a pick and mix. What if I just made like the sweetest drink possible that just felt like you were chugging like a liquefied bag of pick and mix? Specifically all the gummy bits. We don't want any licorice or anything in there. And I can't say I've gone too hard into chocolate either. But just like, yeah, the gummy bits of like pick and mix, just that in a glass is what we're looking for. And as I kind of touched on earlier as well, we're not going too strong with this drink. Partly because it helps the sweet flavor, and also partly because, you know, with there being kind of like this whole, like, you know, alien, like, brain parasite thing, I feel like, well, if you're very loud and declare yourself about that, you're probably not a very good brain parasite. So it's better if you're sneakier and you get to people, like, slowly. So like I say, you know, a little bit dangerous, this drink, just because you can have a couple and be like, oh, yeah, this is fine, and then you'd be like, oh, God. Not only am I drunk, I also feel like I've eaten about, like, 5 Mars bars in the space of 5 seconds. So anyway, with that rave review and just glowing description aside, allow me to present to you the Brainworm, the cocktail name for Echo Gumi, and we're going to... Oh, Gummy even, not Gumi. I did have to double check that earlier, actually, because I was like, have I been pronouncing it Gumi this whole time because I'm a Vocaloid weeb, and then it's actually Gummy? And yeah, it totally is Gummy. There's 2 M's. So let me cue that up. Oops. And type this in. As usual, my setup for these is just incredibly jank, so you'll have to excuse me. So, let me get this going here. And there we are. Hello. Hello, we're back. We're back with hand cam things. And also, I finally got rid of that, that shirt that, I'll be honest, I was stretching a bit there. Just doesn't quite fit me, anymore. So, we've got a nice burgundy jumper on, along with our signature gloves. For those of you who are keeping track of my fashion trends, which I'm sure is all of you. Maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, why are people here for the drinks? They had to keep track of what I'm wearing, obviously. Anyway, let's start off. So, our first ingredient in this brainworm, starting strong with the sweet theme, is we're going to want 1 ounce of Peach Schnapps. Oh, wow, that was... Hey, oh. We appear to be jumping all over the place in terms of speed. Hold on, I'm just gonna... I'm not sure if that's OBS. I'm not sure if that's my internet connection. We keeping time? Okay, it's a bit all over the place for some reason. I don't really know why. We're gonna roll with it, and we're gonna hope it just kind of levels out. So anyway, first ingredient is 1 ounce of Peach Schnapps. Lovely tasting stuff. You'll notice this drink doesn't really have, you know... Normally when you make cocktails, you want a base spirit. So something like, you know, a rum or a vodka or a gin or a, you know, like something in that lines. Maybe a tequila or a mezcal. And this drink just kind of doesn't do that. We're just like, no, we just want all the sweet stuff. So the closest thing we actually have to a base spirit here is this Peach Schnapps. So I'm going to crack this open. There we go. And into our shaker, we want, how best to do this? How do I normally do this? I'm having a complete brain fart. Yeah, I think I normally pour over this small one. There we are. 1 ounce of Peach Schnapps. And... pour it into this larger can. There we go. Right, 1 ingredient down, and then that can live back in there for the moment. Next up, again, just keeping fully on the, delicious sweet, you know, pick and mix type things. Apologies if I'm shaking the camera while I'm screwing this back on. And also, if you can see me gripping this super weirdly, it's because you get shit all grip with these gloves on. It's got to be said. Our next ingredient is a classic in all sweet drinks, I think. Or not all sweet drinks, but definitely a lot of the ones I make. We're going to want 1/2 ounce of Midori, which is a melon liqueur that is lovely. I was going to say, it's, you know, it's very sweet. It's very light. It's actually kind of hard to come by where I am recently. Not because the liqueur itself is having trouble with manufacturing, but because the bottles they use for the glass, apparently they're just out of that. They have no glass. So, yeah, it's actually kind of hard to come by at the minute. But yeah, we're going to crack this open. And then... oh, lovely smelling stuff. Tell you what. This is, we're talking about pick and mix style things. This is absolutely the liqueur you want. So there we are, half an ounce of that good green stuff. And yeah, most of that went in the can, which is a bonus. Only a bit of it went over my thumb. Hooray! Right, so put the lid back on that. Our next ingredient is yet another thing that's smells and tastes like it just came out of your average, cinema pick and mix. We want half an ounce of banana liqueur. Now, I kid you not, this stuff, like, if you've ever had the foam bananas at a pick and mix, that's this. This, like, they're the same thing, just this is in liquid form. I kid you not. So, we're going to want half an ounce of this. As soon as I can get it open. Ooh, we're going to want to not push that over. That was almost a disaster. So, half an ounce of this. There we are. Nectar of the gods, I think this is, honestly. So, I'm going to concentrate. There we are. Get the full half an ounce of banana liqueur in there. Now, what we've got in the minute is something that's going to be cloyingly sweet. So, it's high time we took a couple of steps to alter the color a little bit. Not by much. It's going to be hard to do about it because Midori is just so prevalent in turn coloring things. Like, this drink's going to end up kind of greeny, but, I think it still fits. I think we can still get away with it. But yeah, so we're going to alter the color slightly, and also try and bring the flavor profile back to something that isn't just, hey, look, sugar. Like, this is still going to be a very sugary drink, but it's not going to be cloying, as I said. So our first step on that is we're going to do half an ounce of Blue Curacao. I'm back on bowls because I ran out of my De Kuyper Blue Curacao. But like I say, either works, any works, really. But yeah, this gives us kind of a bit more of a kind of like a bitter orange flavor. Which, still fits in the, we're at an arcade full of fruits type thing. Yeah, I should make sure I get the full half an ounce there. There we go. Yeah. Still fits in the, we're at an arcade full of fruits and stuff. Or, a cinema full of fruity type sweets. Or wherever you happen to buy yours, really. But it just helps bring a little bit of balance. And adding to that balance, we're going to have our syrup for this drink. It is some of this that I have bottled and brewed myself. Some sweet and sour mix. Now, I hear some of you, at least, cry, well, what on earth is this? It looks like you've just kind of got, like, Girardi or something here. First off, I promise you it's not Girardi. Scout's honor. It is definitely not that. What it is, it's, God, Girardi's a reference I haven't used in ages, damn. I missed TF2. But yeah, sorry, that aside, I was about to call this Girardi, no. Sweet and sour mix is just in equal ratios. Oh, hi there, Lunatel. Nice to see you. But yeah, we are making a brainworm cocktail for Echo Gummy. And I'm just about to add sweet and sour mix, which is an equal kind of like blend of lemon juice, lime juice, sugar, and water. It's one part of each. You throw them all in the pan, you boil it, and then you wait for it to cool down, and you bottle it. And that is essentially kind of like a sweet and sour syrup. We're going to be looking, obviously, more at the sour end of it here. Like, the sugar is going to help. I suppose it doesn't really need much more sugar, but, we'll stick to the theme. Essentially, stick to the brief. But the sourness of the lemons and limes, which make up half of this syrup, is definitely going to help bring a bit of even keel to the drink. There we are. Half an ounce of that. And on the subject of lemons and limes, let's say we add an actual lime to it, eh? So, in my bag off to the side, I have one lime. There we go. So, I'm going to give this a bit of a roll. If you do this where you kind of like squish the lime between your hands and like roll it round, it's allegedly meant to give you a little bit more juice. Now, we're only looking for half an ounce here, and this is honestly a pretty weighty lime, so I probably don't need to be doing it, but, you know, it's the little ways to get the most out of your citrus fruits, because, boy, if you start making cocktails, you get through these buggers quickly. So anyway, I'm going to, off-screen, cut in half. That's where my chopping board is. I kind of got a lot of other stuff on my chopping board, so I don't want to mess around too much. Right. There we go. So, I've got my handy-dandy Mexican elbow. We're going to put half the lime in it here. And then I'm going to bring this up to here. And we're just going to press this lime into here. Just slowly and gently so I can try and get most of it in the jigger. Or upon failing that, you know, at least the small half of the can. That's doing pretty well, actually. That's, like, coming up to about half an ounce just from that half. Which is pretty ideal for us, actually. There we are. We've got that. We'll turn it over. Do a press this way. See if we get anything more out of it. Not much there. And then, finally, you want to turn it round, put it on its side. Whoops. Punch your camera. A staple of the stream at this point. There we go. On its side. Just see if we can get it to express just a little more juice. Yeah, there we go. I'm calling that half an ounce. I actually turned back the way it was. Okay. Right. So. And we're going to want that half an ounce of lime juice. Very carefully picked up. And equally carefully placed in our large can. I was about to say large jigger. No, jigger's the thing you measure the stuff with. Right, so with that done, we have one final ingredient to, again, help with the, I guess, the alcohol content here, because there's going to be a lot in there at the minute, and we could do with slowing it down, making it drinkable, while keeping the sweet element up. So we're going to go with 2.5 ounces of pineapple juice. Now, I can only apologize if anyone's seeing the weird camera things I'm catching occasionally, where my camera seems to keep speeding up. I guess this one's just going to be a bit scuffed, but, you know, God forbid we have a stream that goes well. Just tech issues all week. Right. So this is going to be our half an ounce. And then we're looking for 2 more ounces. Being very careful here. There's 1. I'm assuming this is on camera, yeah. And there's 2. Go. And our net result for our toil and troubles is, as soon as I put the lid back on that, something that looks a bit like that. Which, I mean, it's kind of, you know, bluey green. I think it definitely fits Echo Gummy. So, I now have to do the old thing where I apologize for having a jank setup with my ice a million miles away from me, which needs to be kept down there, particularly as it's starting to get a bit warmer where I am. I can't really just have it, you know, on the side in the next room, because I will get to that, you know, I'll get to this point in the stream and be like, I need ice now. And then I'll get there and it'll be a puddle. So, I'm going to very quickly run and get it. I will be a minute at most. see you then. Wait. Alright, ice acquired. I'm back. And we are on this one. There we go. Thank you for bearing with me. So, I once again have my handy dandy tray of ice cubes. If anyone, wants references to what size ice I'm using, because I know everyone seems to have different metrics for this. Oh boy, that is stuck in there. Right, so I'm going to use about, let's say, 5 of these little cubes, or hexagons, I should say. Hexagonal prisms, I guess, technically. For giving them their 3D name, but yeah, about 5 of these in here. Some of these are looking a bit short-changed, actually. They're only about half full. Because I guess I knocked this when I was trying to freeze the ice yesterday, or the day before, whenever it was. But oh well. There we are, get this out. Yeah, come on. Come on, son. There you go. Right. So, we will, yeah, we'll shake that now. That'll give these time to just thaw a little bit, so it might be a bit easier to get out. So, we're going to want to close our shaker up and get to shaking. Now, I will try and do some shaking like in front and behind the camera. As usual, my metric for shaking is just, well, A, try and keep a level voice while I'm doing this, which I think I managed to do for the most part, to be fair. And B, don't throw my back out in the meantime, because I do have a bad back at the minute. Because the tech issues weren't enough, I have to have more health issues as well. I think, well, the sound's kind of coming through on that. Ah, damn, that ice melted really quickly. That is a lot faster than it normally does, so I'm going to keep giving it a bit more of a shake. Go. And I think we're approaching being good here, so I'll do a bit more shaking in front of the camera. Here we go, last little leg. Hui. There we go. Right. I'm going to call that good. Now what we've got to do is prepare our glass. Really keep some, like, towels or something around here for this. Yeah, some kitchen roll will go really well, but in absence of that, I'm just going to pop that up with these gloves. Not I'm only going to throw them away after the stream because of how caked in various bits of... Does look like I've been handling alien brainworms, to be fair, so... Points for that, I guess? Sure? So, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to prepare the glass. Now, this is rather a tall glass, actually. Can I angle my camera a bit, just so it looks a bit less like we're... Move this glass out of the way. Just for a second. Hold on. We're rearranging the set. We're going off script. But I think that does look like a way better angle. So, anyway, preparing the glass. There's a couple of things we need to do. The first one is, I'm going to reach, again, down to my pantry of things on the side here. I have a tub here of gummy worms, because I thought, well, I can't, make a drink for the gummy worm VTuber and not have a gummy worm present as like a little garnish, because that feels like a cute thing to do. So I'm just trying to wonder which gentleman I should use for the drink. This guy looks alright. Yeah, front of him looks a bit knackered though, to be fair. This one could work. Yeah, what do we think? Ooh, hang on. There we go. There we are. What do we think? This lad would work. Have him like kind of coil around there. I like that actually. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see, where does that come up to on him? Just kind of after the orange meets that. I'm just gonna make a small incision. All necessary surgery, I promise. A small incision there. So that means I can have him rest on the glass's edge. No trouble. So there we are. I suppose I could have got a slightly more green looking one, but the drink's going to be green, so I think having a bit of a different coloured worm in there is cool. But yeah, and then the other thing I want to do is I'm going to drop a few more ice cubes into this, because this is definitely a drink that's best enjoyed, shall we say. And you've got a little extra ice in the glass. Hey. As soon as I can break it out of my ice cube tray here. So we're going to want to, whoopsie, part fill this. And drop our ice everywhere. Go. Leave that one in here. Had one escape and go onto the floor. I'm like, you know what? No, we're gonna use other ice, I think. So there we are. Do you want a couple more? Yeah, a couple more. Just a couple. My god, I'm so good at throwing this everywhere today. Hold on, let me go pick that one up as well. Right, sorry. There we go. And I'll keep that off screen. There we go. Right. Now that we've done all that, time for our pour. We've used, you know, limes and pineapple juice and whatever in this. And generally when you're using fruit juices, you should strain your drink. So we're going to strain that into this glass. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I present to you... In fact, angled like that, I think, because that's really cool. I present to you the brainworm. Let me just grab a photo for Twitter and Blue Sky for later. There we go. All right. I'm actually really impressed with the look of that. Like I say, I've got to start messing around with garnishes more often. Because like even if the little silly things, just like, oh, you know, we'll put a worm in there. Why not? It really can be like very effective. At just selling a drink. Okay. So anyway, enough yakking about how the thing looks. Anyway, we say we've got a nice color to it. You know, like I say, you know, Echo Gummy's like design's definitely got a lot of color going on. So we've got a kind of a very vibrant kind of greeny blue drink, and then you know the kind of reddy orange like worm, and I guess the the paleness of the underbelly of the snake, shall we say. There's a lot going on in there, you know. Granted, I couldn't get it to change through every color on her design, unfortunately. There's just a bit too much in too many different directions. Cthulhu be proud? I mean, to be fair, if I put like 8 of these in, potentially. Yeah. So what point is it still considered a drink when it's more worm than drink, though? Questions for the great Greek philosophers, not I, perhaps. Now, it looks cool. Thank you very much, Alunatel. Right, let's give this a taste, and hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. Ho 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 ho! Oh boy! We are back with an absolute banger of a drink. That is so good, actually. Like, yeah, you get, weirdly, the first thing that hits me is the banana liqueur. Like, you get that front and center, just like, hey, you know, we're in here, brace yourselves, it's going to be wild. And the Midori then kind of takes over from that. And you get kind of more of Midori's, you know, signature kind of like, you know, sweet and melony taste. The Peach Schnapps is kind of providing almost a background sweetness throughout the whole thing. And I think the juices do just poke through occasionally enough, particularly on like, particularly towards the later kind of part of the flavor profile, to make sure that you don't just feel like, oh god, you know, I shouldn't have eaten that, it's too sweet. I'm like, this is all the best parts of being sweet, without it feeling too imposing, I would say. So let me go back in for another bit. Yeah. Another thing you kind of get on this drink as well, which I think is really good, is obviously you have all these, you know, sweet flavors, you know, really kind of trying to vie for attention, as it were. But I think you've got kind of like a ceiling of the Blue Curacao. The Blue Curacao, I tell you what, does so much lifting in this drink for providing like a ceiling for the sweetness. So like, you know how I was saying, you know, it never feels cloying, it never feels too sweet. I think, admittedly, the lime juice and the sweet and sour mix as well, but the Blue Curacao is the main flavor I get that's like, hey, you know, this is the max amount of sweetness you can go. You know, I'm going to provide this kind of like, you know, almost kind of like, you know, bitter, citrusy overhead that, you know, we're still fitting with the fruity theme. We're not, you know, going to war, but we are keeping you in line. We're going to say, like, you know, I'm doing my hand signals up here. You can really tell by the shadows when I should be down here. But, you know, so you've got, like, you know, you've got, like, okay, you can have sweetness up to here, but, like, you know, above here, we're going to have this little bitter bit just to, you know, just to reset, just to make sure that we're not going, you know, not getting too silly with this. That, and also I think the extra ice in the glass, you know, just to help kind of, like, dilute things, make sure, again, you're not getting too concentrated punch in the face with sweet. There's a lot of little kind of like, I guess, you know, flavor, you know, like preventative and safety measures, for want of a better description, because it's probably not that at all, but, yeah, there's a lot of little things now that say, like, okay, you want to make a sweet drink? We can do that, but we're going to build in a couple of things, just be like, whoa, you know, let's not go too wild. And what you end up with is a really well-balanced sweet cocktail. Like I say, I could definitely, you know, drink a couple of these. At least I feel like I could, no issue. Which means it also probably fits that, you know, that kind of slightly weak, slightly sneaky kind of, you know, whole brainworm vibe going on. Because it's like, yeah, I could down a couple of these. These are delicious. And then I'm going to get up in, you know, an hour and be like, where are my legs? What has the brainworm done with them? I would like those back, thank you. Oh. But yeah, honestly, I'm very proud of that. That is up there on the... I mean, granted, maybe you're getting a feel for the drinks I normally like. And that I like my sweet drinks, you know. But I think for me personally, this is up there on one of the better drinks I've made during my tenure on this particular set of streams, segment, show. One of those. But yeah, I am very impressed with that indeed. Right. So... yeah, this one, like I say, I'll have it in the description. I'll also have Echo Gumi's, maybe they've got a card or something, or maybe I'll just link their Twitch. Wherever they normally stream, that's probably what I'll do, yeah. I'll link the Twitch in the description after this stream. Probably Saturday, let's be real. Because that's probably going to be next time I have to look at this. Now, what I'm going to do for now, though, is I'm going to reset for about 5 minutes or so. Which I noticed that a couple of people have just joined the YouTube stream. Terribly sorry that I have to take a tiny break here, but I just need to wash out my cans, get ready for the next drink. I'll be back in 5 with another cocktail based on a different VTuber. So back then. See you soon. Alright, and we are good on that reset. Hello again, everyone. Hi there. I have cleaned out my cans, which means we are ready for a second drink, and it means I should probably put my presentation back up. There we go. Right, so anyway, our next VTuber, I forgot to change that background from last week, I am just realizing. Whoops. No, well, we got in a second. So our next VTuber, the other silhouette in the thumbnail, who I think has been largely more recognized, but like I say, I'm trying to do, you know, like a big streamer and a smaller streamer, shall we say? Not small by any means, to be fair. Like Ekogumi's definitely, or Ekogumi. I'm gonna get her name right. I'm so sorry. I keep saying Gumi. It's just I'm Vocaloid brained. You know, that's my excuse. But yeah, Ekogumi definitely way bigger than I am. But I think both of us pale in comparison to this next VTuber, which is the point I was trying to make, which is Crazy Holidays. Sorry, I had to give it a go. I can't do her energy justice, but I had to give it a go. So, what are we making for Hololive Indonesia's #1 zombie idol? Oh boy, this is gonna be a doozy. So, this is, again, we got our 4 bars of, not doom, but our 4 bars of this is what things, you know, this is how things are, this is what they happen to be like after I finished mixing this drink. On the bittersweet side, we're definitely on the sweet. You know, we're not nearly as sweet as the last drink, but we're definitely, you know, putting in some time with the sweet drinks there. Weak strong, we're definitely stronger than the last drink. Oh, hello there, Solo Poker. In fact, I tell you what, if you've just joined there, Solo Poker, I do need to say to you specifically as well. I'm unnaturally happy today. I don't know what to do with Joy Overload. Well, that's great to hear, you know. Great to hear you're doing well. And also, because I noticed you were in the stream for uni on Tuesday, I'm so sorry that I was muted for the entire stream, because I noticed you were there for a bit. I made a bit of a faux pas, and didn't realize I was muted until after the 3-hour stream ended. So, my apologies for that. But also, really good to hear you're doing well. You know, we like it when chatters are doing well in here. But yeah, anyway, I was also muted. Oh, well, fair enough then. I guess it evens out. We got away with it. Oh. But yeah, anyway, so we're looking for a kind of a mid-strength drink for Crazy Ollie. You know, kind of like, you know, we're not trying to kill anyone here. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. Crazy Ollie's already dead, which means you could make a case making a super strong drink because it's like, you know, what's it gonna do? Kill her again? It can't. Maybe it can't. I don't know. I'm no necromancer. No, I would need to consult with an expert. But yeah, we're going for mid-strength on this drink anyway. Is the long and short of that. For simple and complex, we are again just going. I've gone a little kind of like just a little simpler in the Ekogumi drink, purely because the syrup in this one is just a little easier to make. Other than that, though, it's kind of more the same rigmarole. And finally, they added Memento to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, so my heart is dancing. Oh, that's cool. God, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a long while. Remind me what Memento does? Again, you have to excuse this, you know, boomer who only really paid attention up until, like, the end of GX. So, you know, all your newfangled, like, Xyz and Pendulum and Link whatever cards go completely over my head. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of, you know, like... Actually, is Memento an archetype or a card? Memento could be an archetype for all I know. I mean, there have been stranger Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. Memento is just a deck made of old bad vanilla cards, but retrained. Oh! Oh, neat. Fair. Yeah, using the old ammo. So I know plenty of, you know, I used to run plenty of weird archetypes like that. I mean, my go-to was always the Batterymen, because, you know, back on my school playground where I played, Short Circuit was the most busted card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just like, wow, if you have 3 cards on field, you just wipe your opponent's board? Like, okay. They all work together to put themselves in the graveyard to summon a big monster. Oh, okay, so it's like, It's like Exodius or, not Exodia, Exodius. Or, what's the other one that does that? It's the tip of my tongue. What are they called? It's not the Gravekeepers. They stop you messing with the graveyard. It's, I forget. Oh, well. It's not the Gate Guardians either, although they were. Exodius is a decent comparison. Hey, there we go then. We'll take that. I kind of know my stuff. Which is surprising given, as I said, how long it's been since I last looked. But yeah, anyway, back on the subject of cocktails, let's make Crazy Ollie a drink, shall we? So, this is going to be a crazy assortment of varied flavors, including a little hint of coffee for our most energetic zombie. Because it needs you to shuffle 5 cards on the grave to summon a big monster, 5k attack, 5k defense. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get you. So, a little story about this drink that we're making. I originally saw a cocktail called a Maiden's Blush, and I was like, well, I mean, Ollie, you know, when she's not busy screaming, does blush around the maidens a lot, so I think that's a very funny thing to base a drink on. And I made the original Maiden's Blush, and I'll be honest, it wasn't my drink. Excuse me. But yeah, it wasn't my drink. So I was like, okay, well, you know, this is kind of a gin-based drink, but, like, you know, maybe I can, you know, swap out the gin for rum, because I like a good rum. We'll do a bit of that, and, you know, maybe we'll add, you know, a bit of, you know, a bit of high proof to that as well. Maybe we'll add a bit of coffee, because it seems to fit, you know, Crazy Ollie's, you know, very energetic vibe. You know, maybe a bit of, you know, extra juice in there, because the original drink didn't have any, and it felt very overpowering. And then before I'd known it, I'd kind of made this amalgamation of weird flavors that, like, seem to balance decently. I by no means think this is, like, you know, the perfect iteration of the drink. But I think it's a pretty good one. It's one that I'm reasonably happy to present to you this evening. So, from an original Maiden's Blush, let me present to you the Zomblusher, which I will now write in the frame before I forget. Oh, hold on. Oh, damn it, I got rid of the exclamation mark. No. Right. Let's... Right there. Yeah, you know what? It gets 2 exclamation marks because she's energetic. All right. And with that, let me... Bang! We are right back in there. So, our first ingredient, as I kind of alluded to while I was talking about the drink there, in a Zomblusher, is just an ounce. Thought it was more than that, but fair enough. We're going to do 1 ounce of rum. Now, personally, I'm whipping out my El Dorado 8-year here. It's a lovely rum. I say this every time I use it. It's got some great butterscotchy notes. I have multiple bottles of this. Like, I love the stuff. Like, you know, if you're looking for a... sadly, Memento isn't up to par with the current meta, but I love it. True, but, like, I feel like if you're ever going to play non-meta in a game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the game to do it in. Because, like, you can have some of the funniest and weirdest interactions in that game when you're not playing, like, you know, the hyper-competitive, oh, I drew my win con on turn 1 stuff. Like, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Makes me very sad, but, like, non-comp Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, there's a certain weird jank magic in that reminds me of being young. But yeah, anyway, sorry. El Dorado. We are doing an ounce of it. There we go. So, I'll try and get this lined up properly this time. Because the problem I have a lot of the time with these streams is that my depth perception is kind of ass. So... Ooh, okay. Well, we've got a weighty ounce there. We're doing so well at this. Okay, right. So, 1 weighty ounce of, how much over was that? Ah, that wasn't actually too much over, you can see in there. Most of it went on my thumb, I think. And not actually that much outside there. Okay. So a weighty ounce of El Dorado. That's not where our rum train stops, though, this evening. Because next up, we have another rum. We have some overproof spiced rum, which is, I'm using Admiral J's Tiki Fire, which is a 151 proof, which, for those of you who don't know how to translate that into percentages, that means we are looking at a 75.5% alcohol by volume rum. Now, this stuff's kind of strong. I'm also not usually a fan of using spiced rums, because I'm like, oh, why would I use a spiced rum? That drink stares back at you. Oh, that's as it does, yeah. Oh yeah, also the tiki face on it. Duh. I thought you were talking about the reflectiveness of this. I was like, oh god, I was like, is my face on it somewhere? No, you're talking about the tiki mask. That makes a lot more sense. Ilunatel, yeah. But yeah, so this is a, it's a Persian lime and smooth vanilla spiced rum, and you definitely really get that vanilla note coming through on it, in this drink. So we're gonna add just a quarter of an ounce of this. Again, we don't want to kill anyone. There's no point trying to kill anyone. Crazy Ollie's already dead. You know, don't overkill it. We're gonna slowly yank this off. Blooming hell. This is one of those liquors where it's sweet enough that hang on, let me move this around again. Yeah. One of those liquors where it's sweet enough that the cap kind of welds to it. Okay, just a quarter of an ounce of this. Like I say, nothing crazy. So about that. We'll go with that. In fact, that's probably a bit weighty, to be fair. I'll chuck that little bit back. There we are. 1/4 of an ounce of Admiral Old J's spiced Tiki Fire. Oh, and the cap's murdering me gloves as well. Excellent. Okay. Right, put that back over there. I've only had Appleton and Ray and Nephew rum. Appleton Estate is a pretty good rum, to be fair. Yeah, it definitely goes a lot on the fruitier side of rums, as opposed to the El Dorado, which I say is like a lot more buttery, but it's a good rum. I've had that before. Right. What's our next ingredient? Ah, yes. Next ingredient was actually bought in for this. We are going to do half an ounce of Kahlua, which is, as you can probably see in big red letters there, it's a coffee liqueur. Now, a full disclaimer. Not normally a coffee person myself. You know, I'm like, okay, if I really, like, you know, I think hot drinks send me to sleep. And if I have a hot coffee, the sleepiness will hit me before the caffeine does. So I just get to go to sleep, and then get to wake up when the caffeine is worn off, and then I feel sleepy after I've been asleep. It's not a good time. Like, energy drinks I can deal with. Cold drinks that give me energy because they don't send me to sleep, sure. Coffee, not so much of a fan. This coffee liqueur, however, very nice, I've got to say. Whew. It is very reminiscent of kind of like, you know, when you get coffee in chocolates? Like in, you know, those fancy, like, you know, Thornton's or, you know, Hotel Chocolat or something like that. It's reminiscent of them. So we're going to want half an ounce of this. There we go. You're the first person to know Appleton so far that I've seen on Twitch, which makes sense. Well, you know, I like to think I have a semi-working knowledge of some of the more common, like, you know, spirits out there. I mean, blooming hell, it's, you know, Lord alone knows I collect enough of them. You can probably see the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like, 7 different bottles I've used this stream alone. Yeah. It would be a drinking problem, but I don't actually drink most of these a lot of the time. I bring them out for the streams, and then I put them away for like 2 or 3 weeks, except when I want to, you know, tinker with some drinks beforehand. It's kind of how I limit myself from drinking as well, is that, like, I like drinking nice mixed drinks, but once I've had a couple, I can't be bothered to make myself anymore. So that's my natural limiter. My own laziness. You know, sometimes my genius is, truly frightening, I believe is the quote. But yeah, anyway. Our next ingredient, we are going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at some kind of sweetness to bring the elements in this drink out, but also a little bit of fruitiness. So we've got a triple threat of things to do that. Well, actually, I say a triple threat, a quadruple threat, because we've got... When procrastination is best used. See, yeah, Lunatel gets it. Right, so our first ingredient in this kind of whole fruity and sweet kind of thing that we've got going is we're going to use 1/4 ounce of Grenadine. This is also going to give it a nice kind of like red tint. Oops, I punched the camera. Oh, the kids like it. I was said kid. Fair, fair. Oh. But, yeah. What was I saying for this? 1/4 ounce? Yes, 1/4 ounce of Grenadine. Grenadine, you've always got to be a bit careful with using because it's very easy to overpower a drink with it. But we're just looking for a little bit of fruitiness and a little bit of that lovely red color. But not, you know, not an overwhelming amount. There's our 1/4 ounce of Grenadine. But we do still want some more sweetness, though. Just not in the, oh god, this drink is all Grenadine kind of way. So, we're going to add to that 1/4 ounce of Demerara Syrup, which is another home-brewed, home-bottled syrup that I've made. Again, if you are unaware of how this is made, you essentially take 2 parts Demerara sugar, 1 part water, throw them in a pan, boil them up, wait for it to cool down, bottle it. And if you get the ratios right, this is theoretically meant to be shelf-stable. Now, I say theoretically because I've had them go bad on me a couple of times, but I'm just going to assume that's the way I brewed them. But this has been brewed fairly recently. You can actually see there's so much sugar in this thing that, like, we've got some recrystallization in the bottle, which is really cool to look at. So, like, the sugar's recrystallized back out of the syrup, which means that the content of the, the sugar content of the actual liquid in there is so high that, A, you know, the sugar physically can't be held in it, and B, it's toxic to anything that would try and take hold in there. It is simply too sugary for things to live. Which naturally, being a human being, means I go, yummy. So, 1/4 ounce of this delightful Demerara syrup. There we are. Throw that in there. Now, this is, I guess, this next ingredient is, I guess, kind of more of a carryover from when this was still a Maiden's Blush. But you know what? It's not much of honouring its roots, because if it were a Maiden's Blush, this would have gin in it. But, as I said, I didn't fancy the gin, I went with the rum instead. Because it worked with some of the other flavours that I was planning on using a bit better. But this is an old carryover, this next ingredient. We're going to be looking at 1/2 ounce of lemon juice from this fine, fine lemon here. I'm once again going to roll my lemon, which, not sure if it's an old wives' tale or not, but supposedly this helps them express a bit more juice. There we go. I'm then going to cut the bad boy in half. Go. And then we're going to want to move this up here to where the camera is. Yep, there we go. And we're going to want to juice 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. So let's throw this in our Mexican elbow, which is the name of this particular juicer. Well, not this particular one. It's the name of this style of juicer. I haven't just called my juicer the Mexican elbow. Although, honestly, if it wasn't already its name, would be a banger name for it. There we are. Wow, getting a lot of juice out of this lemon, actually. Which is fantastic news. Because it's kind of what I was hoping for. Yeah, in fact, we've got a full 1/2 ounce there already. So I'm going to just leave that to the side. And we are going to... sadly, Ray and Nephew Cheapest memories that were making juice instead of Appleton. That's fair. You gotta save the Appleton for the special occasions, I suppose. Right. Anyway, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Going in. Yeah, it's also cleaned out the last little bit of Grenadine as well, which is nice. And our final ingredient. A bit of a wild card, this one, but I feel it helps balance the drink nicely. We want 1 ounce, and just 1 ounce, of orange juice. I've got Tesco's own here. Other brands are available. This is just the one that I happen to have in the fridge at the time. So, let's go. Get a pour in this. There we go. All right. Now, if you'll give me just 30 seconds of your time again, I have to go and run and get some ice, because, like I say, I can't really just leave it in the room next to me now, because it is heating up over here. I would just be going in there and there'd be a puddle on the side instead of some blocks of ice. So, I'm just going to quickly run and re-grab that ice tray from the freezer. I will be back in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We're back with the ice. Solar Poker, oh yeah, I always forget about this. Does banana flavor exist where you live? Indeed it does, yes. In fact, in our first drink of the evening that we made for Echo Gumi, I did, as it happened, use some banana liqueur here, which, if you've ever had the foam bananas at a pick and mix, this is that, but in liquid form. I love this stuff. It's the ichor of the gods, if you ask me. But yeah, banana flavor does indeed exist where I live. Right then. Anyway, so now that I've got my ice, I'm going to crack it open. We're going to put a handful of cubes into here. I called her Echo Gumi again. It's Echo Gummy. The second M. I don't know why it keeps catching me, but it really does. Okay. So we're going to want like 5 of these little hexagonal prisms going in here. I want to put a lid on that. Let's give it a quick look. Show what it's becoming. We've got, again, a lovely red looking color, which, considering we're making a drink for Crazy Ollie, is what we want, really. Got to get the glass. Well, and let's get shaking. Still working on trying to keep my voice stable while doing this, and also not throwing my back out. But hey, you know, it worked well enough for the first drink, so maybe I'm getting the hang of this finally. I shall do a bit of behind the mic shaking. Ooh. That come through? Nah, not really. The shakers are hissing at me. Okay, yeah, the shaking seems to be coming through on the mic, which is good. The shakers are displeased with my concoction. Oh, and also the fact that I keep elbowing and kneeing my camera. But yeah, a little more shaking here. Again, my usual metric is to just go until I stop hearing the ice. I've stopped hearing most of it, but there's still a little bit I think could do with going. So we'll go just a little bit further. Okay, right. Whew. I forget how much of a workout doing that from behind the camera is. You gotta realize I'm doing this with like arms outstretched, so I have to shake my entire torso when I do this. And also, I'm rather unhelpful on one of those like kind of office chairs that like, you know, rotates. So whenever I shake one way, my chair shifts the other way, and I have to go and move my hips around. And I wonder why I've got a bad back, really, doing this being like a circus act. But oh well. Oh. something else I need, just very quickly. Yeah, that one looks good. Go. Sorry, just setting something up there. There. Right, let's pour this drink, shall we? Here's our glass. Very classy looking little number. Give that whole body a workout. Oh, yeah. For sure. Now, again, we have used fruit juices in this, so this should be strained. We're not going to ice the glass this time, though. Like I said, we want, you know, a drink that feels a bit stronger. So we're going to strain this into here. Ooh. Perfection. There we go. And as a final little bit of garnish, I've done something which you absolutely do not need to do, but I think for visuals it's very funny. I got some cocktail sticks recently. Some very special cocktail sticks. They look a bit like this. As you can see, they're in the shape of swords. So I thought, wouldn't it be really funny as a cocktail garnish for Crazy Ollie if I took a cherry and I, like, stabbed around the main seed, which I've realised it might be a bit more difficult than I gave it credit for. Something like that. And then I let that sit on the drink. Like, wouldn't that be really cool? You know, I had to emulate the whole, like, sword going through her head kind of thing. Let's angle that to the side so that we look classy. And yeah, there we have it. The Zomblusher. I'm gonna take a photo of that. I'm gonna line that up first, though, because my camera is off-center and I don't like that. There we go. All right. One Zomblusher, and a fantastic-looking cocktail it is. I'm not sure how much I trust this cocktail thing to, like, stay where it is. So, I might just take that out and eat the cherry, like, now. Ho, 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 ho. Well, cherry was good, but it was also half-coated in the cocktail itself, which I'm now very excited for. I'm gonna grab this in my left hand, actually, because it means I don't have to. I have to do a bit less words. Try again. I have to do a bit less wire gymnastics to get it to my mouth. That is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am thoroughly impressed with that drink. So, right, tasting notes. It's weird how there's so many different flavors in there. Like I say, the drink is really trying to pull you in several different directions, but every direction it tries to pull you is like a little pleasant, you know, window into like an entirely different flavor. So like you take your first sip of the drink and it's, you know, it lets you know it's an alcoholic drink. It's like, this is spirit forward, you know, this is the kind of butterscotchy notes of the El Dorado mixing wonderfully with the vanilla notes of the Tiki Fire. So you kind of get that up front, and you're like, yeah, okay, you know, I'm in for this. And then just out of nowhere, like the Grenadine that she just jumps in and like people's elbows you, and just like, fuck you, we're going fruit now. And you get like the Grenadine and the orange juice doing their kind of like little kind of dance. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, we've still got some of the alcoholic backgrounds, and I've got this whole fruity thing going on. That's cool. And then like that kind of subsides, and then you kind of exhale after doing the drink, and you just get this beautiful like roast coffee kind of drink from the Kahlua. And God, the journey this drink takes you on every time you take a sip is something else, I've got to say. Like, that's so good. And it's like, none of it's too sweet either, I think, because I've used orange juice as the kind of main juice component here. Like, yeah, the Grenadine's a bit sweet, and the Kahlua, you know, and the vanilla is all a bit sweet, but the orange juice helps give it really kind of like tart and proper. You know, it tastes like a very classy drink, which is, I mean, a miracle considering I made it. Hey! But, yeah. No, it's, I genuinely think that's a really impressive drink. I thought this one wasn't going to be, like I said, I kind of, fronted this with like, oh, well, you know, I'm not sure I got the mixing right. Because to be fair, when I started mixing this one, I just about perfected the Echo Gummy drink. But that meant I was about 3 or 4 failed Echo Gummy drinks in. So I wasn't sure if, like, this is actually a good recipe, or whether it was just, well, you know, drunk me would have drunk anything at that point, so it, you know, it would have been fine. But, yeah, no, this is actually phenomenal, you know. Don't know what I was doing in that lab session, but, you know, evidently it was something great. Oh. That is fantastic, and that is very drinkable as well. And also, have I mentioned I really like rum? Which might be why I'm enjoying, you know, this drink so much. But, yeah, as Solar Poker correctly says there, rum corrected it. Rum is, you know, rum is the hero spirit, I think. You know, I want to eventually branch out and do more, like, you know, gin drinks that aren't just gin fizzes. It's the buff I give from being a viewer. Well, hey, you know, it's very much appreciated. Yeah, definitely viewer power tonight, I think, made both of these drinks as good as they are. Because this has been a cracking night of cocktails, I've got to say. That's 2 of the best ones I've made in a while. Like, straight up, these are both gorgeous. But yeah, on that note, I think I should say, I think that will essentially do us for tonight's cocktail stream. Like I say, I'll get the recipes for both of these in the description, and also links to channels for the VTubers featured in this episode and all previous episodes over the weekend. Like I say, that's probably a job I'll undertake on Saturday. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for coming along and chatting to me while I make these, and, you know, generally giving me, like as Solar Poker says, the viewer buff that made these drinks just fantastic. And, yeah, I will see you next week with some more streams, including I'm going to try and do another cocktail stream next Saturday, because this is technically the April stream that I just missed. So we want our May stream, given that we're now in May. Yeah, we definitely are in May. I had to check. Oh. But yeah, we'll have our May stream next week, because I think the next 2 weekends, well, the next bunch of weekends I'm going to be busy, I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, it means, essentially, I had a good couple of drinks here. I need to scratch my head and think of a couple more. But more of that next time. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you then. Farewell.